I'm coming to you from my hotel room in Houston, Texas. We had a wonderful seminar last night. In addition to the teaching, I ministered to a young African-American professional woman who had a curse going back to a blood covenant in Africa 75 generations ago. There was a violent spirit of Leviathan that manifested. She was amazingly set free by the power of Jesus Christ. This happens every week in our seminars. But of course, it also happens in our personal encounter sessions during our seminars, as well as many days during the week when people fly to see me at our ministry center in Phoenix, Arizona. So don't put off having your personal one-on-one spiritual encounter. And this brings to mind a topic that I'd like to address. It's that of multi-generational curses. Now, this woman suffered from a 75-generation curse. Our book, Curse Breaking, and the International School of Exorcism courses spent a lot of time teaching about curses, more in depth perhaps than any other place. I think we've plumbed the depths of curses about as far as anyone has ever gone in print and in our School of Exorcism. So I encourage you to study this material. What I want to share with you today is not theology, not quoting Bible verses. We do all of that. That's all backed up in our School of Exorcism. But I want to talk to you about the practical aspects of multi-generational curses. You may watch me on YouTube or hear about curses going back 5, 10, maybe even 50 generations. But what about these instances when an evil spirit says there's a curse going back 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000 or 3,000 generations? How can that be if you're not an evolutionist, and particularly if you adhere to a young earth theology? That's just not possible. There's not enough time in human history for 10 to 20 millennia to have passed for those curses to be embedded. So what are we talking about? Well, one of the things that we teach about at length in our School of Exorcism is the difference between a transgenerational and an intragenerational curse. Transgenerational curses go back chronologically in time. Intragenerational curses affect individuals within a particular generation, family members, and those who are in-laws by marriage. Take, for example, let's suppose you have a grandfather who committed an evil and started a curse. Well, remember, Grandpa had perhaps aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, a wife, and her extended bloodline, all types of people connected, so that one individual, by bloodline and marriage, was able to affect so many other people. So you can see how just a few generations exponentially can cause great evil on so many other people because of the interconnectedness of the intragenerational curses. An ancestral curse, a multi-generational curse, transgenerationally, going back, has the power to affect many thousands and thousands of individuals. When a demon speaks of large numbers of generations, that evil spirit may not just be referring to the chronology of the curse, going back in time, but also to what's going on in that current generation. The chapter that explains this very clearly is Deuteronomy 28, where it speaks of curses and blessings. Now, I've written about this and I talk about it a lot in our School of Exorcism. That chapter puts forth the proposition there are curses and there are blessings, and that all of us need to live godly lives so that future generations will be blessed. We need to resolve that we are going to cleanse every curse possible. We're going to break the curses of the past, and we're going to bequeath to our progeny a heritage, a blessing from the Lord, breaking all the curses. The church has to get over this idea that Christians can't be cursed. Once again, I deal with that theologically from the scriptures in our School of Exorcism and in our book, Curse Breaking. So If you want the answers are there and they're readily available. Here's the point of what I say to you today. All of us need to come before the Lord in faith and break the curses of the past, the present, and the future. The multi-generational curses that are transgenerationally reaching back to the evil of our ancestors, and the intragenerational curses that bring the contamination of all those who by some form of connection, by marriage and bloodline, or by soul bond connection, have affected any one of us. Let's break these curses for ourselves, our future, and our families.